We just need to call him after and just be like, hey, you'll have to add the channel back because we had to quickly do it just to get the show up. We'll act like we did it really quickly and because at the beginning I probably had time to call him, but
Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Bottom by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the... We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. Sir, you found a way, okay? All right, now, what I tell you, okay? All right, this decade is going to be the decade of the Vols. You got it?
Reddit did to do and welcome into more important issues. It is Sunday, September 6th. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We are back online on all of the platforms. Again, I apologize, but we made it happen. So we're trying to make it work. We are now back up on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm watching Twitter. Landon's got Facebook. I've got YouTube as well. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat right now. Drop them in the chat throughout the show. We'll make sure we get to them at some point, if not immediately. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got a commit this week. I'm not gonna drop his name. We'll wait a second. Okay. Get the suspense built up. If you heard the show earlier, you already heard everything, the take on it. So we'll just run through that one real quickly again. We've also got the Vols' biggest must-wins this season. 20 days away from kickoff. This is Pruitt's third year. There's gonna be some wins that he's got to get, and we're gonna talk about those. And I guess maybe we want to throw in some other thoughts about the season. We've also got college football's back. Second week of college football. Seems like everything's running as smoothly as it could.
Yeah, I don't think you could ask for... I mean, I guess you could ask for more, but, like, you're getting something.
Right, exactly.
You got to be happy with that.
Exactly. This week, the NFL kicks off. We have a fantasy draft to get to tonight. That's why we're coming at you an hour, well, now 30 minutes early. That's why we're coming at you a little bit earlier tonight. We're going to talk about Vols in the NFL, and then we'll scurry out of here and get going for the NFL draft. Or the fantasy draft. I'm sorry. I had no idea it was starting pretty much on time.
Yeah, it's wild.
I expected COVID to get everybody. Not the NFL.
Nope.
Not that money business.
They're going to make their money.
Exactly. We'll talk about the Vols, where they've landed after the cuts. They're down to 53-man rosters now. You know who's on the practice squads, who's on the official rosters, and the Titans get a much-needed pass rusher.
Clowney.
You're liking Super Bowl, huh?
I don't. I think Tennessee Titans fans are liking Super Bowl. You're also Tennessee Volunteer fans, so I just want you to be aware of what you're actually saying.
You better win the AFC South.
Exactly.
That's all.
Yes.
We're also going to talk about some high school football. Talk about some of the scores and teams around the area. Got your top 5 plays this week. I think I only showed you 2, maybe 3 last week. I've got 5 for you this week.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Put it together.
Yeah, we'll go.
All right.
We're going top 5. A lot of good plays that happened this week, but I know I didn't see them all. So if you've got any that you want me to see or want Landon to see, send them to our DMs or the More Important Issues DMs anytime between Friday night or Thursday night and Sunday morning, and we'll get those thrown together. But I've got my top 5 favorites that I saw this week, so we'll get those going. They don't necessarily have to be from this area either. If they're not from this area and they're not amazing, I'm not going to show them. If they're from or not around here and they're amazing, they might make the cut.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's how we're doing business around here. That's how it works in East Tennessee.
If you send them and it's good, we'll show it. But
Exactly.
we're not going to go out of our way to find something in
Texas.
Exactly.
So, well, let's jump into the show. Again, we already talked about the William Griffin Parker commit. Big commit from the Vols. Literally, if you missed it earlier, because I know we weren't up on Periscope, but if you're on YouTube or Facebook, Landon's going to run through that one again. If you did miss it, I'll tweet it out tomorrow, and you'll be able to catch all of our takes on the William Griffin Parker commit.
Yeah, so he commits to Tennessee over Alabama. He has offers from Georgia, LSU, Florida. Like I said, Alabama, pretty much Auburn, pretty much every SEC school you could think of. He's got an offer from.
He's not a slouch. Like, he's legit.
Yeah.
I know he's a 3-star, and
he's a 3-star, but he's like right around the 400 on the 247 composite. So he could be a 4-star by the time everything's in. Now the bad thing is, for him to move up, Nashville is going to have to let those kids play. He's from Pearl Cone in that Nashville area. Last year they were 14-1, made it to the state championship, and I think they ended up losing to Alcoa in the 3A state finals. Kid's a winner. He's not used to losing, so he's going to come here, expecting to win football games.
Love the winning attitude.
Exactly.
Also, losing to Alcoa is nothing to be ashamed of.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody does it. Everybody does it. And it was nice to see him pick up that Alabama hat and gently set it down, or gently toss it down.
Zero disrespect.
Exactly.
I didn't mean any disrespect, man.
Yeah, exactly. And picks up that Tennessee hat. Yeah, it's always good when Tennessee's on the right side of those little hat tosses.
Yeah, we talked about the one a couple years ago that stung.
Yeah, the Quay Walker, that one was that one hurt.
That was on signing day too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
On ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was on CBS.
And that was like a hat, like sling. Like he slung the hat. This was just like a hat toss back onto the table. It was a toss.
Yeah, it was a toss.
Yeah.
Did this one? It was on CBS, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but CBS
apparently they jacked up the beginning of the stream.
Well, it went on break and it come back from break and he had already picked the Tennessee hat and he had to go back and find where he actually. But it was a lot smoother than the Kenny Chandler on ESPN Live. It was a lot smoother than that. But yeah, I think Tennessee made him a priority and that's ultimately why he chose Tennessee. Not far to go, so his family can, hopefully come in and watch him play. 6'5", 325. I mentioned earlier that he's Tennessee's 26th commit. They're going to continue to keep recruiting, and just load this class. There's some guys out there that Tennessee would like to have. Marius Mims, Mel Munden, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, Rod Orr, Nyland Green. Those guys would probably have a spot if they wanted in.
Yep.
But the good thing about it, Tennessee can be selective. You don't have to just go sign a kid just to sign him, or just take a kid just to take him. You're going to have a good selection of who you want and who you want to sign come signing day.
That's definitely what you prefer if you have to do one of the two.
100%. Yeah, and he's already – Pruitt's got 2 offensive linemen this week, 3 in this total class. They average 6'6" and a half and 324.3 pounds. Add some beef. We went the Arby's approach. We want all the beef.
Those are some thick boys.
Exactly, yeah.
2 C's.
Thick.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
I like the big offensive lineman commits. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, or just offensive lineman commits in general.
In general, yeah. If you were here for the Fury Duvall fan during the Derek Dooley era, you will take offensive lineman. Period. Exactly. Speaking of big, we're talking about the Vols' biggest must wins this year. Jerry Pruitt's going into his third year. There's going to be some games that you have to win, some games that you have to be competitive in, but we're not talking about those today. We're talking about the biggest must wins. The Vols' 10-game SEC schedule. Is that friendlier? Gives you kind of more room to work in the conference, or is it more difficult?
I think it's difficult, but I would way rather it be in Pruitt's third year than his first year.
Yes.
So it makes me feel a lot better about where our program is as a whole right now. Like, man, that 2017 team, it would have been a rough 10 games.
Right.
But you feel good about these. I think my must win, it's probably the same as last year, and I feel like mine last year was South Carolina. Yeah,
so that's mine this year for a couple reasons, but
yeah. So mine this year just because you want to get over the hump of winning a season opener. Mm-hmm. Number one,
I think that's what kind of solidifies USC for me is the season opener,
and they're not good. So if you lose to them, like it's gonna look bad, and you don't want to start off like you did last year. You don't want to like have to panic to get bowl eligible. You want to start off good, you set the tone for the rest of the season. So that's where I think South Carolina is. I just think kind of kick them down or kick them while they're down. Because they lost a lot. DJ Wanham, Javion Kinlaw, Feaster's gone, Dowdle's gone, Brian Edwards is gone. They lost a ton. And, that offensive line was terrible last year. I just think South Carolina's going to be struggling. The only guy that they returned, I'm like, yeah, that guy was pretty good, but he didn't have a great season. He just had a really good game against us, and that's Shy Smith.
Yeah.
I think he had 156 yards and 11 receptions.
And you mix in Helinski, but you talk about how the offensive line's weak, and then he has maybe one guy to throw to. It's like,
and they don't even know if he's going to be the quarterback.
Yeah, and how impactful, I don't know. It's just, that South Carolina, I think you hit the points of, they're not good. And then Jerry Pruitt's got to get an opening win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because last year, the first year you played West Virginia, they were a better team than you. You had at that point, a Heisman candidate quarterback. You probably shouldn't have beat West Virginia in 2018. But last year was unacceptable, so you really need to go get that win under your belt this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's nice that it's not South Carolina. It's not Georgia or Florida or Alabama or A&M or Auburn. Some of the teams that you're playing this year, you have a pretty easy season opener, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, as good as you could probably ask to have a 10-game SEC schedule. Mm-hmm. Got to make the most of it. I mean, you got to show out. If you want to keep all these recruits that you have, you're going to have a good season. You're going to have to show out a little bit on TV because they're not able to watch just Michigan, Ohio State. They're going to be watching SEC football every Saturday.
That's a good point. And like you said, take advantage. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to get 7 SEC wins this year. Now, I don't think it's likely, but I think you look. It would be very tough, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. Mm-hmm. Out of the realm of possibility, there's 7 wins that are possibly to get, and that kind of I realized you wanted just one biggest win, but I wrote down 2 more technically. I think you got to beat Kentucky. Kentucky's going to be good this year. It is a weird spot in the schedule. But you got to go and win that game. Whereas I think that's a game. It's one of those that you could lose. It's not going to be a Vanderbilt or an Arkansas where you should be able to write it down as a win and move on. You've got to be focused and ready for that game. I think it falls the week after Georgia. It's in a different spot than it normally is. Kentucky's a must win, and because you got to beat them to get to 5 wins for sure.
Yeah, and you don't want to be 0-3 in that stretch between Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama.
Exactly.
Don't want to be there for sure. And it's a different type of season, but it's still the same matchup. It's Tennessee, Kentucky. You should go in there and win and beat Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky should come in here and lose to Tennessee. I don't care how good they are.
Shouldn't be a problem.
It doesn't matter how good we are. We should always beat Kentucky.
Derek Dooley also has something to say about that.
As long as they don't have a wide receiver playing quarterback, I feel good about it.
Yeah, I agree. I also wrote down, and this one is like where we're 20 days out and I've talked myself into winning games. I really think this is one of the years that you need to go and beat Georgia or Florida. One of the two.
Okay.
I don't really have a great reason other than you mentioned how Tennessee.
It'd be fun.
It'd be a lot of fun. You mentioned how Tennessee should always beat Kentucky. Tennessee, and I realize the last 10 years are going to contradict my statement entirely. Tennessee should not be losing to both of them every single year.
Yeah.
I feel like this year you've done a good job with your roster. Georgia shouldn't be good offensively when you play them. There should be way too many questions for them offensively. I know I talked about I like them better at the end of the year. I usually think
They ain't got Jamie Newman. They ain't got that Heisman candidate.
they don't have the Heisman candidate.
Well, J.D. Daniels will probably be a Heisman candidate by the
Probably.
time they hop him up.
Yes. But he's only been on campus for like, what, a month and a half?
Yeah, and how healthy is he?
How healthy is he? It's a great question. I don't know. I just feel like getting a Georgia or Florida win, it gets me back to my point of I don't think 7 wins is impossible. Unlikely, but not impossible. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, you're going to have to beat one of those two teams to get to that 7-win mark. So I guess that's like, if you have a great season, you can't lose to Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. Those are like your 3 guaranteed losses, or not guaranteed. I don't know. But if you want to get to 7 wins, you got to assume you're going to drop one to an A&M or an Auburn. Hopefully not Kentucky. So you got to go beat Georgia or Florida if you want to get to that 7 win mark.
And if you want to get to that 7-win mark and you don't lose those games, then you have to beat Auburn and Texas A&M. Whereas like if you beat one of those beforehand,
you can give one up.
Well, I guess Florida's at the end. I forgot about that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to knock off a couple of teams that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Or I guess you're not picked to.
Correct. Have they released any lines yet? I know they released win totals. Have they released lines for week 1 yet, or Vegas?
I thought Tennessee was like, was it -3 or was it?
Tennessee was a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was.
I mean,
that's what it opened up.
Yeah, that sounds relatively right. That sounds like it should be right. I don't know. I'm excited to get a little gambling. Speaking of gambling, college football's back. Like I said, another good weekend of college football. I didn't gamble on any games. I think our good friend Chad threw down like a 7-team parlay. He was in here earlier. I'm about to ask him. I don't think he's in it anymore.
Thanks a lot, Chad. We're just talking about how great you were as a friend, and then you just get out.
But I think he had a 7-team parlay, and I think he missed. I think he picked Middle Tennessee to cover. They were like a plus 7, I think.
They got waxed.
And he picked them to cover, and they didn't.
Yeah, they got waxed.
Twaxed by Auburn. Army, sorry. Did I say Auburn?
Yeah, I
was thinking A.
Yeah, you're thinking you want SEC football to get here.
I do want SEC football to get here. Like I said, 20 days out. Can't wait to get there. How exciting is Tennessee at night going to be? I wish it was a home game. I really wish Tennessee had gotten a home game first. Is that selfish of me?
No, that's not selfish.
So
like 3.5 is what it's at.
3.5.
Yeah,
gotcha. You were close. I think someone was trash talking us in here saying you guys are really on top of it. Sorry, I'm not a degenerate. I'm not a gambling degenerate, so I don't know these lines.
Yeah,
by heart.
I refuse to bet on Tennessee.
We also don't talk about gambling a lot in here.
We don't.
I don't know why anyone would expect us to know that line
off
of our top of our head.
Well, yeah, we got to. A lot could change in that.
Yeah, we don't look ahead too early.
South Carolina thinks they might want to roll out that grad transfer, Colin Hill. He's had 2 ACL tears in his career. One was last season. So I mean, and Helinski wasn't anything just special last year. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to take the. I'm not going to bet on Tennessee. I'm just going to say that.
And I don't encourage anyone to bet on Tennessee either.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be hurt twice.
What I don't see if someone's going to get on to me about this. Well, Tennessee was not even close to being favored against West Virginia, and I just bet on them to cover. I think they were like somewhere in the 10-ish point underdog. I picked them to cover against West Virginia, and they did not.
No.
Oh, well.
Yeah, if you bet on MTSU yesterday, I'm sorry, because they got...
Okay, should Army ever score 42 points in a game, though?
No. Nope. They had to put So Chase Cunningham came in for Asher O'Hare at MTSU. He's a Knoxville Catholic grad. He's a Knoxville guy. He came in and played pretty well considering, you're down a ton. He was 7 for 10, 63 yards. That Asher O'Hare was 9 for 14, 46 yards, and 2 interceptions. That's bad.
That is.
Yeah, Army only threw 4 times.
Not surprised.
No, not surprised. But they did have 340 yards rushing.
Wow, that's pretty impressive since their leading rusher only had 94 yards.
Yeah. Runs
Spreading the wealth, baby.
Yeah.
Spreading the wealth.
5 touchdowns.
So I thought Texas State was an FCS team. So I'm not shocked that they kept it close with SMU now. Okay. 31-24, yeah. Not as bad as I guess I thought it was. That close score.
So they're not an FBS team?
They are.
They are.
I
okay.
thought they were FCS yesterday.
Okay,
they're in the Sun Belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Arkansas State and Memphis. A lot of people are high on Memphis. I know Memphis took care of business, I guess, but it wasn't a blowout.
No.
But I think a lot of people are. They had a couple decent wins last year. I think a lot of people were high on them.
I think they like Brady White. I think he could be like a. I don't know. Maybe he's a draft pick. I feel like all Memphis quarterbacks, you put up a lot of numbers, so they just assume that. But he was 26 for 36, 275 yards and 4 touchdowns. So
they'll take that in the American Athletic every day of the week.
For sure.
What about BYU Navy Monday night?
It's gonna be fun.
Think so. Who do you have?
I'm going Shipman, baby.
Oh, okay. It's in Annapolis. BYU's traveling.
Okay.
I don't know if that means anything since
cool.
they'll be like
the line's even.
There'll be like 3,000 people there.
Dang.
If anybody, I guess. I don't know. I don't know who's announced crowds. I can't keep up with all that crap.
I mean, it's gonna be to who dominates the line of scrimmage.
Oh, for sure.
But
which maybe it's the year of the wing T.
Maybe it is.
Army scoring 42 on an opener.
Yes, so. And then we watched the Southwell Gibbs game. They are in the wing T.
It's amazing how often they go from shotgun to the wing T.
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I kind of like Navy too. Then
like they went multiple and like a multiple offense and just made it very multiple.
Yes, exactly.
Like you went like 5 wide at one point to the wing T. Like that's
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Hey, but you got the athletes. Spread them around.
Yeah, dude, it works.
Spread them around. I was gonna mention something else about that BYU game, but lost my train of thought. You got me going on the wing T. Now just like they try to confuse the defense, I am frazzled.
Yeah.
You're
the veer, baby.
Oh, it was Memphis. They
don't run the wing T.
No, they don't. I was thinking of they released a tweet on Saturday morning, I guess, that said sold out crowd, and it was like 4,600. I was like, why even send that tweet?
Yeah, I did see that. That was.
I realize it's because of COVID, but just seems like a weird tweet to send out.
Oh yeah, you know Vanderbilt's gonna do the same thing.
They're not gonna ever sell out.
I know, but they're gonna say like sold out, like they've sold.
I don't think they'll ever sell 4,000 tickets. I think that's the issue.
Well, I think they'll put sold out, but it'll be like 346.
Our band will be there today.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, man. We talked about going, so I don't know. Is anybody else going to make because it could be our only game we get to go to this year. Is anybody else making the trek to Vanderbilt? I know we talked about it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, what Broadway's looking like that, I'm probably not going to Vanderbilt.
I'm not going to Broadway.
Yeah.
I might go to campus. Tennessee, though, the tickets are like $400. You can't get a ticket under like $400 right now.
No, it kind of makes me want to. Like, I'm still like waiting for my. I'm probably not going to get tickets.
I know a couple people who got calls.
But I'm just waiting to see if like they actually email me and be like, hey, you got tickets.
So I was told by someone who has 4 tickets that they called and offered them 2, but for the normal price. So they're paying for 4, but only getting 2.
Yeah, no. That's a no for me, dog.
Again, that's from one person. So,
but I mean, if you can sell them, I just don't like. Is somebody really going to pay $400 to do that? To go to one game?
I think there's people out there. Yeah, I do. I think there's people.
Okay, would you?
No. I didn't say I would. I think there's people out there that would, though.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, that's a lot of money. I kind of just want to get them and just like
try to sell them
for a lot less than the 400 that they're going for on
370.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious to see how it will be spread out.
Yeah, because then I mean, you'll get your money back easy.
Oh yeah, if you choose to bomb, which I'm sure that's why most people opted in.
Yeah, I mean I'm just curious.
Not most people. I'm sure that's why a handful of people opted in.
Like I kind of. I want to go to one. I don't really care to go to.
I'd like to go to one.
So if they put it to next year, I'm not going to be mad. I actually kind of prefer that.
Yeah, and I was talking to Matt this weekend. I was telling him that I think this year, make the most of it. I think it'll be a fun year to just watch every game with all of our friends.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it'll be a different. I mean,
And
obviously,
it's kind of weird, like, to think about, and you don't really think when you're stumbling into the stadium right before kickoff, but like everybody kind of just like goes their separate ways because a lot of people don't go to the game; they just go back to their cars and go home or walk somewhere.
We have a good crowd though that we walk each other to the game.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's fun.
It usually gets a little
get to
a little
like,
rowdy.
Yeah, we get to the gate and then we all kind of
We have to go our separate ways.
Yeah.
That's why I think this year could be. We're gonna take advantage of it. We're gonna have a good time. Usually we're just together, like Landon said. We part ways at kickoff, so we're usually just together for away games. I think especially if our plan is able to come to fruition, I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
because I imagine game day will still be the same in terms of what's going on in the stadium.
We still got a while. I want to be like, yeah, it's, but we still got a while. Like we got an extra week before we can actually tailgate.
Correct.
So we got to find out what we're gonna do before the.
I'm not getting ahead of myself. Not releasing plans too early.
Yeah,
we got to wait for confirmation.
Exactly.
But we'll keep you guys updated because as long as you wear a mask, we welcome you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be curious. It's gonna be interesting to see how we're gonna have to handle that if people show up like in the numbers of Georgia State, BYU, Georgia.
Yeah, like this 70, 80 range. Yeah, it's like, oh man,
this might be a little too many people here.
Broadway did it.
We'll just call it a honky tonk and move on.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll just name it like a bar name or something. And then
Kid Rock's Honky Tonk and Grill.
Or we'll like act like we'll have stamps.
Exactly.
And act like we charged you to cover, but we really didn't.
Sure. I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, we can charge you cover if you want.
Sure. I'm in the money making business.
I'm a really nice guy, especially when I've had a little bit to drink, so I feel like
Landon wouldn't charge you.
I wouldn't charge.
Landon would charge a cover and then pay it himself.
No, I wouldn't.
The money would just go back to you.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, yeah. I wouldn't use my own money to let somebody else in. No, I wouldn't do that.
You get a couple in him, he might. Let's talk about some balls in the NFL.
Yeah, let's do that. We should.
Marquez Callaway, the big man.
I do have a question before we move on from the South Carolina. It is about South Carolina, so I do want to mention that.
I've already sent the tweet. You got to move on. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. So Big Orange Pruitt said, how will South Carolina be affected with the two wide receivers opting out? That's Trey Smith and Randricus Davis. I think I said that right. I don't think it really affects them. I don't think either of those two guys would start. Now, they do contribute a little bit. But Trey Smith, I mean, last year he had 9 receptions for 69 yards. I mean, that's not a huge person to miss. In 2017, he had 30 receptions for 326 yards, but hasn't really contributed much after that. And then Randricus Davis, last year, I don't even think he played.
Yeah, it probably is going to impact depth.
Yeah, just
nothing severe to South Carolina. But the good news is, I mean, I don't know how much worse.
I mean, Marshawn Lloyd's out. Yeah, I just, Shy Smith is probably their only guy that I'm like, probably don't let him run wild. But other than that,
I guess nobody. Where it could hurt him is they are going to be looking for playmakers. Well, that's 2 guys that won't be it. So I guess that's where it could hurt you. Like where we know it'll hurt you for sure.
And I'm sure they're thinking like, oh, they lost Nigel Warrior, Daniel Batuli, Darrell Taylor. I mean, that's...
And those are the questions that we know Tennessee has.
But I think Tennessee has guys that filled those spots. I think Darrell Taylor is the one that I'm just like, we just don't know.
Right.
But I feel like we're good at middle linebacker. I feel like we're good at safety. It's just, I guess, what they look like. And can they be as productive as them? But I think they have the potential to be.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
I agree. Okay, balls in the NFL now.
Do it.
Marquez Callaway. Big man.
Making the roster.
Undrafted.
Love it.
That's, I mean, I don't know. Did you expect that? I don't know if I expect that. I can't decide.
I mean,
I felt I did when at the draft when he didn't get drafted. I was like, he's gonna get picked up by a team.
Mm-hmm.
Now I didn't know if that would lead to him making a 53-man roster, but I knew he'd be picked up by a team.
I think his ability to contribute in the return game probably helps a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I mean, the dude just can go up and make plays, and Drew Brees is going to be able to get it to you.
Yeah,
and he's going to be he's going to go up and get it. So I mean, maybe they just utilize him in red zone situations. I don't know.
But he's definitely, you're right about the return game, but he's going to have to kind of, to keep his spot on the 53-man roster, he's going to have to be impactful in special teams.
Yeah.
That's what's kept Jalen Reeves-Maybin around.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that was huge. I was surprised Juwan. That was surprising to me that he...
Yes and no. I know with the 49ers wide receiver situation, I agree, yes. Yeah. But with his speed, I'm not.
And he got a lot of praise.
He did get a lot of praise.
From Kyle Shanahan and different people.
He did get kept on the practice squad.
Right.
So that probably means the 49ers like him, just not enough to find a space on the 53-man roster yet.
Could make the cut.
But at the wide receiver position, that means he could easily be on the 53-man roster before the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like it's two different places. Like Marquez Callaway, in that Saints, you need a ton of receivers. Because Drew Brees is going to throw it 40 times a game.
Right.
So you need a ton of guys, whereas the 49ers, they like to run the ball. They also like to throw, but not as much as the Saints do. So they don't need, I guess, a ton like the Saints do. So maybe that has something to do with it. I feel like every tweet we saw was like, yeah, former Tennessee players been waived.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Nigel Warrior was waived by Baltimore, which was pretty shocking. They were, like you said, Jennings got a lot of praise from the 49ers. Yeah. So did Nigel Warrior. So that was a little shocking.
He's picked up, and I actually kind of researched his name a little bit, and a lot of people around the NFL, a lot of writers and stuff, were like, "This is who our team needs to target off waivers," and a lot of them said Nigel Warrior's name. So,
and maybe that's a guy again who maybe finds another home, or maybe gets signed to the practice squad and could be on that roster before the end of the season.
Yeah, you have an opportunity to work your way up. But some Tennessee Vols that were waived this weekend: John Kelly by the Rams, Daniel Batuli by the Rams, Juwan by the 49ers, Kongbo by the 49ers, Dobbs by Jacksonville, which he
went home.
Yeah, picked up Pittsburgh.
Hey, credit to Pittsburgh. That's a free trade right there. They got a free trade.
That's true. They did. And they got rid of Duck, who started 6 games last year.
It's pretty surprising, but apparently they liked Dobbs, which why trade? I guess that's who Jacksonville would take. But why trade him then? They apparently liked Dobbs more than, is it Duck Hodge?
Yeah, Hodges.
Why? I don't know. Very strange.
I mean, and Dobbs, he beat out Mason Rudolph a couple years ago. So there's nothing that Mason Rudolph did last year I was like, oh, that dude's impressive. Big Ben it seems like he's kind of injury prone at this point. He's getting up there in age. So I don't know.
Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't know how much longer he's got. But I think it's a better situation. I don't think Jacksonville, number one, they got rid of their best player, so I wouldn't trust that franchise anyway.
Right.
And Gardner Minshew doesn't do anything that makes me like, oh man, he's the face of that franchise.
Shouldn't be a franchise quarterback.
Exactly.
And you mentioned Dobbs beating out Mason Rudolph. I thought at one point he seemed like he was going to be the number 2 behind Ben. I was like, well, that's good because that means he'll definitely start a few games because Ben's going to be out for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But that just never happened. It's unfortunate, but he'll get another shot behind Ben Rothwell in that organization and maybe get a couple better looks. We'll see.
And then Khalil McKenzie was waived by the Bengals.
I think they've moved him to defensive line.
Yeah.
Which I know he is, I guess, a defensive lineman, but he's been playing offensive line since he's been in the league.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. And then Tyler Bray was waived by the Bears. Ethan Wolf by the Saints. Daniel Helm by the Chiefs. Josh Malone by the Jets. Nigel Warrior by the Ravens. Daniel McCullers by the Steelers. And Jason Kroom by the Bills. And then you have some obvious ones who obviously made the 53-man roster, which Derek Barnett, Cordell Patterson, Alvin Kamara, Callaway did, Jakob Johnson did for the Patriots, Kendall Vickers made it for the Raiders, and then Shot Tuttle made it for the Saints, and then Kyle Phillips made it for the Jets as well.
That's exciting. A lot of Vols in the NFL. There's going to be a lot of guys that you'll get to pay attention to this season.
And a lot of it's just like, oh man, that's a lot of good players that are gone. It just goes to show you how tough it is to make it in the NFL.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think there's some guys that you named that were waived that will be on practice squads and maybe could make the transition to a roster in the NFL. I think, for example, Jakob Johnson, you said got signed by the Patriots. He was back and forth with them all year from practice squad to active. So it could be a situation like that for sure. He's the only fullback listed on the Patriots roster right now.
Oh, nice.
So he'll get, I'm sure, plenty of shots.
Yeah, and if they kind of do kind of what the Panthers did with Cam Newton, they use, those running backs and fullbacks a lot.
Yep, they do. You're right. That'll be exciting to see. He was a linebacker, obviously, and when he went to New England, saw his career kind of transition.
Yeah.
Anything else for Vols in the NFL?
I don't. I mean, who's gonna pick up Kamara tonight? I got the number 3 pick, so it could be a possibility.
Is it a dangerous pick for you to get?
Yeah,
Kamara?
that's
you
why
just don't know where he's gonna be.
Yeah, I like him too much. That's probably why I won't pick him.
You don't want to hate him after this season,
right? I would take McCaffrey though.
That's understandable.
I would take McCaffrey.
Very understandable.
I told Dylan not to pick McCaffrey. See if
you can't. Is he listening? You can't do that.
Oh, he's not going to. There's no way. Or like there's no way he listens to me. He's got to pick McCaffrey.
Full disclosure, I'm not prepared at all for this draft, so I don't know what's gonna happen.
Just roll with it, man.
I mean, I am.
That's probably your best bet. If you think about it too much, you probably just suck it up.
90 seconds, just go with your gut.
Yeah.
Go with your gut. I am taking a kicker in the first round. Zero down my mind.
You should.
Zero down my mind.
Teams is where the breaks are made, right?
Exactly. Let's talk some high school football. Another good week for high school football.
It was a good week.
Crazy stat for you that 5-Star Preps tweeted out today. Alcoa, in their 3 games, have allowed less than 50 yards of total offense. Total.
I saw that. Dude, like, what? I can't wait to see them play Dobbins Bennett at the end of the year. That's going to be a good game. I think Alcoa probably wins, but it's going to be a good game.
Dude, that's so stupid. Is it fun to watch them?
It probably
is. If their defense is that good, it's probably a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's probably...
Because they're not allowing
it's
yards.
It's probably not fun to be an offensive coordinator on the opposing team. I would
Correct.
say that.
I'm hoping the teams that play them in the future are just a lot of trick plays. Try to get the ball going some way.
What do you do as an offensive coordinator? Are you just like...
Just got to think, nothing to lose. Let's do something.
Chuck it.
Exactly. Nothing to lose at all.
Maybe you get a 15-yard penalty.
Yep. I've got some games here. I do not have scores because I'm an idiot. I just realized that. So if you have scores for these, throw them in here. I do have a score here. Carter beat Seymour in overtime, 22-15. Did you see the game tying, I believe, touchdown?
I didn't.
Great throw. Didn't make it on my top 5. I apologize. Great throw from Carter's quarterback to make that play. Powell over Fulton. A little surprising. Not surprising. Sorry. I meant to say a shift in the tide of recent years.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The score would have been reversed 5 years ago. 4 years ago. So, my favorite team right now, Kings Academy.
Kings Academy.
Dude, 3-0 and rolling.
I found the athlete we were talking about.
Yeah, rolled over Grace Christian Franklin, not the same one in Knoxville, but they had no problems in week 3.
No, so obviously we know of Tennessee commit Jamarion Gooch, but Jacheem Williams is having a great start to his season. Last night he had on Friday night he had 7 catches, 159 yards, and a touchdown. Also a fumble recovery return for a touchdown. And then his previous 2 games before that had 8 catches, 178 yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 tackles, and an interception.
Dude, he's legit.
So it's not just Gooch on Kings Academy. They got some athletes over there, and that's why they're 3-0.
I haven't looked at their schedule. Have you looked forward at their schedule yet? Curious what that'll look like.
I can pull that up.
Definitely gonna have to go check that out. Dude, I like it. I like the little school over in Seymour rolling.
Yeah,
I love it. Mo West beat Jeff County 14-7. I think that was Morristown West's first game, if I remember correctly. They got a late start to the season with their district going late. I'm going to mention this one, Loudon over Brainerd. Loudon, could they be a force to be reckoned with in 4A? Greenville, Elizabeth, and Anderson County. Loudon's, I think, 3-0.
I think Tullahoma is also in 4A in Middle Tennessee, so I know they're pretty good.
So 4A could be an interesting class this year.
Yeah. So I am looking at Kings Academy schedule. So they play Mount Juliet Christian next. I think that's where Dallas went, right?
Yeah. Apparently they were terrible, so I don't know what they're now.
They play Webb School, which is where Keon Johnson's from, in Bell Buckle, Tennessee. They play Oneida on October 9th. I've just not really heard of it. Donaldson Christian Academy, they're supposed to be really good. I don't know. I've never really seen a lot of these schools. But for them to beat some bigger teams in Gatlinburg, Pittman, and Seymour, that was huge for them.
Very small roster. Well, not small, but a very small roster.
Right.
Obviously,
So we'll see. We'll see if they compete for that state title.
Are they? I guess they're probably Division 2,
1A.
1A. Yeah. They're gonna be that small school division.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got a shot. Any other scores you want to talk about from this week?
Macaulay got beat by Brentwood Academy.
Did they?
They did.
So they play Catholic on this Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dang.
Yep, they got beat by Brentwood Academy. Who else played?
Maryville beat Cleveland this week. They had no problem handling business there. Science Hill had no problem at Hardin Valley. DB put it on Bearden. And then South Dual beat Gibbs 37-17.
Yeah. Pretty good game.
Yeah. You'll see a highlight from that. You ready to go to these highlights?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get it rolling.
There you go. Let me see if I can.
Also, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Caleb's on YouTube and Twitter, and I'm on Facebook. Let me get back to Facebook before I actually say that. Yeah, drop them in the chat. Also, go check out our sponsors, Hound Dogs and Tennessee Tap House. They make this show possible. Go check out volunteerroadshow.com. Get all of our free content by making an account. Also, that'll put you in the drawing for any time we do drawings on the show. We'll get a lot more of those going once Tennessee football is actually here.
Yeah, absolutely. Here are our top 5. My top 5, I guess. Landon hadn't seen him yet. We'll see if he approves. My top 5 from this week 3 of high school football. We'll start Thursday night at Rockwood. Dryston Turner finds Zadrian Fickey for a 79-yard touchdown. This is my favorite one because you don't see a lot of quarterbacks able to go roll out here, hit their wide receiver in stride. It looks pretty easy for Turner. No issue for Rockwood over Sweetwater, 34-13. Second one, Central, the defending 5A state champs, may have another shot this year. That's Connor Williamson on a pick 6 to the house. Little tip drill action.
Little house call.
Yeah, a little tip drill action. I love it. They handled Sevier County 45-20. 45. The scores must be wrong. 45-22. And like I said, Central's going to have another opportunity to win the 5A state championship.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of teams in 5A. Oak Ridge, West, Powell, South Dual. Halls is 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
They beat not Cleveland. Who did they beat? Clinton.
Let's look at this next play, and we'll talk about 5A here in a minute. Fulton. I know they dropped it tough one, 57-28 to Powell, but a great play. Nice throw from Tommy Sweat, but a great play from Adrian Roberson. He goes up above the receiver. Nice throw to the back pylon. Great play there. Love little
Duress
pylon throw.
finds his man. Pick off! Number 21. Won it again. He's headed down the left sideline. He's up to the 50. Coming back at the 45. Coming down to the 40. 35, 30, 25, 20, 50, 10, 5. Touchdown! Powell Panthers!
And then number 1, like I said, little home cooking here. South Dual versus Gibbs. Preston Sisler, 97 yards to the house, makes a phenomenal move on the safety. Put him on his heels and had no issue. Nice little, simple little curl. I think it was a curl route.
Like a hitch route.
The camera work wasn't quality, but just caught it just short of the first down markers, and then took it to the house. No doubter. Again,
I don't know how he wasn't up for any player of the week because that kid was a baller, had an interception.
a great interception. He almost made it.
Also came up, and he's a pretty small kid, but came up and laid the wood to the Gibbs running back.
Yeah, he almost made it. His interception almost made it on the top 5. It was definitely really close. I want to go back to the number 2 play. Powell had a pick 6. That was Carson Whitehead on an 80-yard return. I had to leave the announcer in for that one, the play-by-play call, because the way he says Powell Panthers when they score an exciting touchdown is just electric. You can't. It's just
You can't rip
Powell Panther. I got it. It's so quick and it is a quick hitter, and he drops it in. And then an 80-yard pick 6 is a reason to be excited.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I'm not doubting him. But that number 2 play, yeah, Powell took care of business, like I said, 57-28. They are going to be like you started talking about 5A.
Yeah.
That's going to be a interesting class to see what happens. South will bounce back this week after a tough loss. They're going to be competitive in that. Powell looks like they are going to be very competitive. A class full of sophomores, but very talented sophomores. Central is going to. They know how to win, flat out.
Oh yeah.
There wasn't a lot lost going from Coach Rosser to Coach Craney. They seem to be rolling, and this week really got their offense rolling, so that they may even be more of a force to be reckoned with than what was already thought to be the case. It's definitely going to be an interesting class. You mentioned Oak Ridge in that 5A too.
Yeah, Kendall Jackson got a Tennessee offer. They're running back number 1. Yeah, they got a good program. They put a whooping on Campbell County, 42-0. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a lot of good football around this area. And also in Memphis. Have you seen Dallin Hayden over there at Christian Brothers?
I have. He is electric is the right word.
So Friday night he had 33 carries, 258 yards, 4 touchdowns. He has 690 yards and 9 touchdowns in 10 quarters this year.
That's stupid. Those are the kind of stats you read like Eric Gray.
Yeah, probably he's probably in the mix for Mr. Football.
Like Travis Etienne, when I was like, there's no way he rushed for that many yards his sophomore season, and he did.
Etienne,
I can.
I've
never said it right. So, and I've just accepted it. I don't need to say it right. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
With it.
Yeah,
unless he commits to Tennessee, and then I'll learn his last name.
Okay, then you'll get it right. Yeah, that's fine.
Or not even commits to Tennessee. He needs to play at Tennessee.
Yeah, needs to sign the papers. Then
Exactly.
We'll get your name.
Sign the papers. We'll get the name right. No issue there. I promise you that. Anything else for high school football?
No, I just want to mention Dallin Hayden because I think they were like kind of have him as an athlete. Dude's a running back. Okay.
Dude's a running back.
I mean, I think I don't think his dad, Aaron, would like to admit, but I see a little bit of Aaron Hayden in his step.
Okay. I don't think any Vol fans would complain about that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You ready for most important of the week?
Yeah, most important. Let's get it.
What you got?
John Morant, NBA Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to. You couldn't give it to Zion.
No, he only played
20 games.
Yeah, not even know he played that many. But
something like that. Yeah.
That's definitely not the. Definitely couldn't have been him. There's no way. Oh, most important, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He got all of his XFL helmets in his office. Did you see that? They look. First off, the XFL helmets are fantastic. And
nice.
In between them all, he has a framed image. Well, not an image. It's framed $7, and he said he framed it because that was the amount of money he had when he was cut from the CFL in 1995. It's a daily reminder to stay hungry, humble, and always be the hardest worker in the room. I think the XFL is going to be successful under Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It seems like everything he touched kind of turns to gold. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm excited to see the direction of the XFL under him.
Yeah, hopefully everybody will be able to smell what The Rock's cooking over there for the XFL. I had something else. I have a lot of fails. A lot of ignorant people this week.
I've only got one fail.
So the new Hornets uniforms with the pinstripes.
Is it the pinstripe ones? Those are fantastic.
Oh, they're beautiful.
That's a most important though, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just making sure you weren't failing those out of there.
No, they're beautiful. I don't know. This is kind of in between. I don't know how you view it, but did you see the video of, I think it was Enes Kanter and Jaylen Brown? I guess they were teaching Taco to swim. Taco Fall.
No, I didn't see it, but I mean, I can't
Like
imagine
holding
a
him.
7'10" dude would know how to swim.
Yeah, so I'm just like, he doesn't have to swim.
Correct. He just stands.
Exactly.
If you're in water deeper than 7 feet, get out.
Yeah, you probably don't.
I'm not a big swimmer, so just get out.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if you swim like Taco, because that was
Correct.
not graceful at all.
I don't know how it would be though. Like I don't.
Yeah, right. It's like a surfboard with legs and arms.
So does he float?
Maybe. Well, he didn't look like it.
He doesn't. We found out he doesn't float.
Tacos don't float.
You have a fail or an actual fail. I know you said that.
Yeah.
Was...
So Oklahoma, their September 12th season opener against Missouri State is going to be on pay-per-view
That's the dumbest
for
thing.
$54.99.
People are gonna buy it. That's why they do it.
$54.99 to watch Oklahoma beat the crap out of Missouri State.
Tennessee would still have pay-per-view if it wasn't for the SEC network. So I'm glad that's not the case.
That's so
Yeah,
dumb.
it is very dumb. It's very dumb. And Tennessee fans would buy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we
You
can
got
go to a
any
bar
more?
to watch it because we're not buying it.
Oh yeah, you got one.
I've got one here. Roger Sherman said J.A. Adondi said the kids are among the few people in the world who can watch these NBA playoffs in person, and they're all locked into the phone screens instead of watching their dads on the court. So much for grabbing the next generation of hoopers. The kids he's talking about are all toddlers. Like, can barely walk. Some of them can't walk. And he's mad that they're not watching the game. Adondi is.
Yeah, what do you want?
Someone tweeted back and they were like, dude, they're literally babies.
Like, just like you want to. Would you rather them be screaming and crying? Like, just let them do their thing.
I just can't believe you sent that. One kid's like drinking milk.
He's breastfeeding.
It's not breastfeeding. There's no, free the nip movement going on or anything. But he's he's definitely like, that's probably his mom's breast milk.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, that kid might be 48 months old. But
So are wives allowed in now?
I guess families are allowed in.
Okay, nice.
I guess probably to keep the extras out, if you will.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, and I guess they have a lot more room now that some teams are
True. That's
gone.
a good point. I don't know exactly what the requirement. Like, I don't know who's in, who's allowed to be in. I just know that the Dondi thought it was absurd that babies are not watching the game.
Yeah. Maybe they're videotaping it.
That I don't think he thought of that possibility.
Well,
Yeah,
He's a moron. That's why you've made it on the show
Exactly.
as a fail of the week.
exactly.
My next fail is Miko Hardman. Did you see him get his Super Bowl ring?
I don't know if I did.
As soon as he gets it out of the case, he just drops it on the ground.
I hope those things are as sturdy as they are expensive, and they'll be fine.
And then he looked around to see if anybody saw it. And of course, there was a camera right on him as he did it.
Why are Super Bowl rings so absurd now? Why are I get Super Bowl rings. Never mind. I'll scratch that. Why are like bowl rings and state championship, like high school state championship rings, so absurd now?
Yeah, I don't understand. Why do you get a ring for winning the Music City Bowl?
Also don't understand that.
What is that?
I feel like you should only get a ring for SEC. No. Let's scratch that. You shouldn't even get a ring for SEC. National championships only. Rings are made for special occasions.
I think the SEC wouldn't be like that. Like that. That's something like.
Okay, I understand it more, but I still am firm belief of SEC or national championship only.
Yeah, especially like your team should like look at the Music City Bowl as a failure.
Not a failure, but yeah, you shouldn't get a ring from it.
As Tennessee, like that's we don't want to be in the Music City Bowl.
But if you won it, it's not a failure. Like you won the game,
Right.
But you shouldn't. You're right.
You shouldn't get a ring.
You shouldn't get a ring.
Yeah.
A plaque, sure. A ring.
It's not where you
no.
want it to be at the beginning of the season. No.
Exactly. You won the game. Congrats. But yeah, you should not get a
Yeah, get you a shirt, maybe a pair of pants, and go home.
pants. Get him a hat. Get him one of those tacky hats that you could pick up at Champion.
Like all that stuff, not rings, but like you remember when Tennessee had that like yard sale in the indoor facility?
Yeah.
All
Is it
that
like half of it Music City?
Yeah, all of it was. So I was like, who wants that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The rings are getting absurd. Get rid of them. I 100% agree. No bowl game rings. It's stupid. National championship rings, I think only I can understand the conference game. But at the same time, it's like there's 5 10 other conferences in college football that they would get rings.
Yeah.
I think save the rings for the big one.
Yeah, maybe like you don't get as big of a ring.
Like LSU got 3 rings this year: SEC championship, their bowl game from the semifinal championship, and then national championship. Why?
Yeah. What if this year they win the SEC and they win their bowl games? Do they have one for each hand?
Yeah, they would get a bowl and an SEC. Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, you won 5 national. No, I just won 1. Why do you have 5 rings?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then
you're saturating the market is what you're doing.
Exactly. It's the word I was looking for. Do you have any more fails?
I do. So Desmond Howard is all aboard the Cincinnati Bearcats train. He is them making the college football playoffs.
Desmond Howard, verified moron.
Yeah. I mean, he is absolutely lost that Michigan is not going to have a season, and he is just on a rampage.
If Cincinnati makes the college football playoff, to be determined, I'll let you know. I can't even think of something so absurd.
I can't either.
The things I would do if they made the playoffs, I wouldn't be proud of, so I'm not going to say it right now. Because I just don't think there's no way it happens. It doesn't make sense.
You're really going to like this next one.
Is Ian Rappaport?
It's not Ian.
Oh, okay.
He just has this tweet. So the Raiders traded returner running back Lynn Bowden Jr. and a sixth rounder to the Dolphins in exchange for a 4th round pick. The same pick Miami just got from Vegas. And Bowden was a 3rd round pick.
What?
Yeah, so they basically just gave them a 3rd round and a 6th round for a 4th round. And
why are people trading rookies that haven't even played a snap?
I have no clue.
Both teams.
If you didn't want him, just waive him.
I guess they thought they could get something out of him, so
well,
credit to that, I guess. I guess the Dolphins are the stupid ones.
Yeah.
I don't know who. Both are stupid. I don't know. This is so weird. What is going on? It's the Raiders. I'm shocked 0%.
I just don't like you gave him. You give like a 5th round and a 6th round for like a 4th round pick, not a 3rd rounder and a 6th rounder, unless you're just like, oh man, that was a terrible pick.
I guess they believe that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Watching Lynn Bowden Jr. last year, I don't think that was a terrible pick.
No, I feel like he could have been useful for the Raiders, but
whatever.
Maybe for the Dolphins. Maybe him and Tua can share some SEC quarterback tips.
Yeah. So we had one more question before I forget. Weather Lover said, does this mean he is on their 53-man roster or 53-man squad or the practice team?
Is that Josh Dobbs?
This is Josh Dobbs. So if they are claimed, they have to make room on that 53-man roster for that player.
And they released Josh Dobbs, I assume. They released Duck Hodges, so I assume.
Yeah. So that's what it was. They had to make room. I think within an hour after you claim them, you have to make room for them.
Gotcha.
I think that's how that works. So yes.
There you go. Good for Josh Dobbs. Happy for him.
Yep.
Guys, that's all I've got. We are going to go draft. We're going to go draft some fantasy guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for fantasy. I love fantasy football. Usually, I'm more prepared than I am this year.
Yeah, it's just another way that we can be depressed.
I came in 3rd last year and won the year before. You can be depressed.
I will be depressed. Yeah, I have terrible luck. I always feel like I have a good team, or I pick like my first player is always hurt.
Well,
no matter who I get, they're gonna get hurt.
I was looking at the history of the league, our league. You went 11-2 the year I won, and you lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then last year you went 4-8. You just
sucks.
Shat the bed from the get-go. I went 4-8 the year I won in the regular season, and then just went streaking during the playoffs.
Streaking. In the quad.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about. This guy definitely knows what I'm talking about. Guys, want to thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate it. We will be back on Wednesday talking some more Vol football as it gets closer. Talking some NFL football. You'll know our fantasy teams by then, and I'm ready to get rolling. I realized this week was kind of the real start of college football. More games though will be happening. It's gonna be. You're not going to be able to watch the Oklahoma game, but it's happening.
Yeah.
So
and then good. NFL starts Thursday with the Texans Chiefs. And then this week, the ACC and Big 12 start.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a fun week of football.
Yeah. Love it. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.